It's been over a year since I've done a What's on My iPhone video, so I figured it was about time that I updated you with what is indeed on my iPhone. Hi y'all, it's Annelies, and like I said, it's been since December of 2020 since I did a What's on My iPhone video, and since then we've got new operating systems, I got a new phone, and I think I've changed the layout of my phone quite a bit, but honestly, I didn't go back and watch that video, so I can't really remember. But I've got definitely new apps that I use, so what I just wanted to do in this video is go through my home screen. I'll put my phone up on screen here, and I'll show you how I have my phone laid out, what widgets I like to use, shout out a few apps that I really like. For those of you who are curious, before we get started about what's on my phone, the phone I have is the iPhone 13 Pro. It's the silver or starlight version, the white silver one. Also, I have the 512 storage option, and then the case that I'm rocking is an OtterBox. Yeah, this is the OtterBox, like glitterly. This is the OtterBox glitter clear case. I really like OtterBox cases. The only thing I don't like about clear cases, and this happens with like almost any clear case, is I don't know if you can tell, but the edges are getting like really yellow, which is kind of grimy. And then I've got this cute Donald Duck pop socket on it. I got my mom and I matching ones for Christmas. I'm just gonna move this way, so that way you can see my screen, and with the power of editing, here is my iPhone. Now, real quick before I get into it, because you can't show your lock screen while you're screen recording, I'll put a picture on screen now. This is a photo that I took at the Oakland Zoo, which is like a beautiful zoo, by the way. Oh my gosh, I love this picture. It's like one of my favorite photos, and I try to use my own photography as my wallpapers a lot, just because I'm really proud of my work, but also sometimes it just like, the vibe is right. Sometimes I'll make stuff in Procreate, sometimes it'll be pictures of like my mom or like Disney things, but I decided to change it to this photo because it's springtime, you know. But anyway, let's go back into my phone, and if you can tell, the background might look familiar to that color scheme, and it's because what I typically do with my wallpapers is that I like having it be the same photo, but I don't like having it be the actual photo, because then it like makes the background too busy, and I like to be able to read everything, even though I obviously know the calendar app is the calendar app because I've been using it for like a decade, but I like being able to read everything. I don't like it looking too busy. So what I'll do is I'll go into an editing program like Procreate or Pixelmator, and I'll take the photo I'm using as my wallpaper, and then I will just blur it almost all the way up to the top. I still like seeing the colors there, because then when you unlock the phone, it like still has the same, it's a really cool thing. I like the vibe that it gives off. So even if I'll have a really detailed lock screen, I have a really blurry home screen, just so it makes it easier. I like having color. I could do just black, but that's not as fun. So anyway, okay, let's talk about the apps, obviously. So I'm just gonna go through, and then if there's anything that I think is like worth mentioning, I'll stop on it. So we've got Files, Calendar, Photos, and Camera at the top. I really like having the Files app on my phone, like easily accessible, because it's like the Finder app for your phone. So what I like about Files is that you can link other drives. You can't link multiple Google Drive accounts, and I do use Google Drive as well as iCloud Drive, but I like being able to see like all these different locations. Here I have the tags that I use on my computer that syncs through iCloud, so I just like having the Files app. I use the iCloud calendars. I don't use Google calendars, as I know a lot of people do, but one day, I've been saying this for years, I'm gonna make a video about iCloud calendars, because it is I would say one of my favorite features of like Apple. I love iCloud, and specifically I love iCloud calendars, and I want to talk about how I use it to make my life make sense. So I live and breathe by my calendar. So there's that. Okay, next row we've got settings, maps, reminders, FaceTime. I use reminders all the time, whether it be for like things like texting people, like reminding myself to text people. I'll always tell Siri to do that. I have a reminder for every Sunday to turn off my phone for 10 minutes. I have a reminder on here to wash my face and brush my teeth. It's not that I forget, but it's to force me to stop working. So at 9:50 and 9:45, I'll get notifications on all my things, whether I'm working on my computer or on my phone or I'm on my iPad or whatever, that just says, hey, go brush your teeth and get ready for bed now. Like, stop doing what you're doing. Do I ignore it a lot? Yeah. But it keeps me at least on a little bit of a schedule and forces me to start to wind down and get ready for bed. But then I also have like my movies to watch list that I keep on my reminders. If you see any of the names here and there's anything I should add, let me know in a comment. Moving on, we've got the utilities folder. Here I have, let's see, health, clock, wallet, voice memos, calculator, contacts, the Apple Translate app, Find My, Home, and then on the next page is shortcuts, watch, time hop, fitness, dream days, and Conversion Cal. Conversion Cal is an app that you can just like go in here and do conversions for anything. So obviously with me living abroad, I've been using this a lot for currency conversions, but you can use it for weight, which is nice when you're cooking and you're looking at like a recipe from America, but then I only have UK measurement thingies here. And then Dream Days, I think I've talked about this before. This is a countdown app and I like having this. And actually, I just realized my widget isn't there for my Dream Days countdown. I like having my widget to see, so like, you know, 393 days until I graduate grad school, and then my best friend comes in July, and then my birthday, and I also have the reverse ones on here, so I moved to the UK 238 days ago. So anyway, I like that stuff. I just keep these in a folder because sometimes I like having easy access to them, even though I use Spotlight Search all the time. Also, just the way everything lays out. Oh yeah, the reason why I have the Apple Translate app in a folder is because it doesn't have Dutch, which is very annoying, but I like having the Translate app because then you can translate like web pages and stuff. Can you do that without the app? I like the Apple Translate app for French, but then the one I feel like I use most often is Google Translate, but we'll get there. Then we have the App Store, and then my first widget on my home page is the weather widget. I just like being able to see the weather, and even though the weather widget takes up 4 squares, and I wish they had an extra small widget that only took up 2, because like half of this space, if you look at that, I don't need the whole like right side of that widget that could be used for apps. I just need the basic what's the weather, but I just like being able to unlock my phone and go, oh, it's 65, cool, go on with my life. Me knowing what time it is and what the weather's like right now are just like 2 things that I just like constantly like to know. So anyway, then we have the Notes app and Notability. I use the Notes app primarily on my phone and on my computer, but when it comes to my iPad and note taking, I use Notability because I just like the writing aspect. There's also another app that I use that we'll get to in a second, but the reason why I like having it on my home screen is so if I'm trying to access the things that I did on my iPad, but otherwise I don't use it on my phone. And frankly, I like the color of it and it keeps everything in the order that I like it to be, and I don't use Notability that often. So I just leave it there, but when it's there and I actually need it, I'm grateful. So anyway, yeah, I have not found an app that works as easy as Notes, as the Apple Notes app for just like jotting something down, making a list, whatever. So that's why it's the note-taking app of choice just in general. The next row, I've got Duolingo, and I know this is not what the Duolingo logo typically looks like or the app typically looks like, but I just recently got over a 90-day streak. Hold on, I'm gonna open this up. Okay, so if you don't know what Duolingo is, it's a language learning app, and I have been using it for, honestly, I think like 5 or maybe 7 years now. I've been on Duolingo, and I've been kind of like, I always bounce back and forth with using it, and I haven't ever used it super consistently. Like I think the highest streak I gotten before this was like 20 days, and then I'd lose it, and then I just kind of give up. But I've gotten a lot of friends on Duolingo here, and then one of my best friends, Angelina, has like a 365-day streak, and she's really passionate about learning languages, so she kind of got me really back into it again. And so I was doing it with her back in America before I left here, and the pandemic is actually what got me really back onto it, but my streak has never been this high. I would just like do it a day, lose my streak, I'd get to like 14 days and I'd be annoyed, but then I'd obviously keep doing it. That's how I've been learning a lot of Dutch over the last 2 years, which was really helpful for when I actually went to Holland, and like I got to see how much languages I actually knew. So yeah, so I'm learning 4 languages right now. I've got French, Dutch, Hawaiian, and Arabic. The French on the side was an accident that I can't get rid of, so ignore that. Angelina's been doing really good with her Duolingo, and then I've been keeping up with it because of the fact that I've been trying to learn Dutch and French better for now being so close to Holland and France. And then I got a lot of my friends back on it here, or people started it here, and so now there's like a big group of us at school who are like getting notifications from each other like, oh, Keaton completed a 30-day streak, Tatiana got 50 crowns, like whatever. So now I'm like, if I lose my streak, everybody at school's gonna know, and I can't let that happen. All right, so I've learned so much with Duolingo, and I'm so grateful for it. I pay for the plus or the super account or whatever because there was a discount during Christmas time, and it was only like $40 for a whole year, and I can afford to pay for it so that way other people can have free language learning. So I like to support the app. You do get some like perks from it, like you get unlimited hearts and whatever, but if you've never used Duolingo and you're trying to learn a language, I absolutely recommend it. Like 110%, it's amazing. So anyway, that's what that is. And oh yeah, the logo, because I got over a 90-day streak, they give you the option to change the app icon to a little fire guy. So I did, because I don't have any orange apps on my home screen, and I think it's cute. Then we've got YouTube. YouTube Studio is for me managing my YouTube channel, the one that you're watching right now. And I like go on it every day just to see like analytics and whatever. And then we have the podcast app. Apple Podcast is my podcast app of choice. Let's see. Podcasts that I really listen to, I would say I just got into Scam Influencers. I think they only have one season up right now, and it was like a couple episodes, but it was really good. Sounds Like a Cult is fun. Scam Goddess is awesome. My Favorite Murder. I listen to like every other My Favorite Murder. Like, not all of them do it for me. Oh, The Dropout was really good. Twin Flames was really good. I really like true crime podcasts. I also really like comedy. That's why we've got like Best Friends, This Might Get Weird, TMG, The Tripod, you know. These are kind of like my podcasts. If you have any podcast recommendations, I've been trying to look for some new ones, so let me know. And then at the bottom, we've got Messages, WhatsApp, and Translate from Google. WhatsApp, if you live overseas, like outside of America, everybody uses WhatsApp. Businesses use WhatsApp, people, schools, everybody. Like, that's just like how everything works here. And so WhatsApp is like a necessity. I like it, but I wish that because it's owned by Facebook, Meta, whatever, I wish they had more of the Facebook Messenger features, because even though I hate Facebook Messenger, I like how it has like the React things and inline replies, and here it's so much more clunky, so I wish they would update it. But WhatsApp is actually pretty nice. So if you're ever traveling to Europe, make sure you have WhatsApp already set up on your phone. And then I do like using iMessage over WhatsApp because I just enjoy it better. So any of my friends who have iPhones, I go, can I just iMessage you instead? And then Google Translate is awesome. If you've never used Google Translate, one of the things that's great about it is this camera feature. So like, okay, so if I'm trying to go from, let's switch from English to Dutch, and if you put it in front of something, it can pull up the language. Do you freaking see that? It's so sick. You can translate the words in real time. So this was really helpful for when I was in like France. I speak French pretty well because I'm giving myself too much credit. I understand French pretty decently because I took 3 years of French in high school and I was really, really into it. It's not like I just like took 3 years of French. Like, it was my jam. And also with me doing Duolingo and whatever, anyway. So I was able to understand a lot, but there were some things at like buying ticket kiosks that were just too hard to understand. So I would go to Translate, say French to English, and it translates it in real time. It's a necessity if you're traveling abroad. So I love Google Translate for that. Okay, so then to go to my widgets, when you swipe to the left. Yeah. Okay, my widgets on the left, I have battery, which I use all the time. It's amazing just to check the batteries of all my things. Like if I have my AirPods connected, it'll also show you the individual AirPods in the case. It's great. That's how I found out the other day that my AirPods weren't broken. They were just dead. That was really helpful. And then we have the calendar widget. I don't use this all the time, but sometimes it's just nice to have your day at a glance. And then of course at the bottom we've got phone, mail, Safari, and music. I do use the native mail app. I like it the best. I do use Safari because I'm not a crazy person who uses Google Chrome on an iPhone. Safari's so much better. And like I mentioned, the whole translate thing with an iOS 15 or whatever it is pretty nice. And then I do use Apple Music. Apple Music is my music app of choice. Music that I've been listening to recently, the Pandora, the World of Avatar ambiance soundtrack from all the rides in Animal Kingdom in Florida. DNCE, which is Joe Jonas's band, came out with a new song. I love them. Let's see. Darius Rucker is like my favorite country artist of all time. Somebody I follow on Instagram used Following the Sun by Super High and Nika, I don't know, in a reel. And I just watched the reel and I was like, this song is amazing. And I just listen to it like every day. It's like good song. So, oh yeah, Shrek the Musical, The Necessities. So that's my first screen. And I wanted to point out something that I don't know if you can see, because I don't know if this will come up in the screen recording. I'm assuming it will, because when I screenshot things, it disappears. So I don't know. But this little, do you see this little circle? I hope you see it. I'm gonna show you up here. Let's see. Focus. Do you see the little circle right there? Okay, so that is an accessibility shortcut. Now, it sometimes gets in the way more than it is handy. However, what this thing is it's a way to have, like, you can screenshot, you can access Siri, you can access the control center, you can customize how this button works, all from just this one button and kind of just like with one hand. And as y'all probably know, I am an ambulatory cane user, and so when I'm using my cane, I can only use my phone with one hand, and things get pretty frustrating if I'm trying to do like Apple Pay, and it's really hard to like do the double click on the lock screen. And am I in focus? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it just gets annoying to use a phone with one hand, and the 13 Pro is just like the tiniest smidge too big to use with my hand with one hand. So I keep this on here. Most of the time I'm just moving it around to get it out of the way, but by me having it already ready on my screen, it helps just me in my life. Yeah, so that's what that little dot is. That might be something that helps you in your life. But anyway, let's move on to screen 2. And here is where I've got more widgets and more apps. So let's talk about the widgets first. The first is Widgetsmith in the top left. and that has the Sacramento, California time. Because if you've been around for a while, you know that I am originally from Sacramento, California, and the time change here is 8 hours, and I can do it pretty easy when it comes to like me in the evening and my mom, who's obviously back home, in the daytime. But when it's my daytime and her early morning, sometimes the math doesn't come as quick to me. So I like being able to like log into my phone, or unlock my phone and go to this screen and just immediately see, oh, it's 4:50 a.m. over there. Maybe I shouldn't call her right now. Maybe I shouldn't text her right now. But then later in the day, I'll see, oh, it's 7 a.m. I know she's definitely been awake. I'll text her. That's just what I like to do. You can customize the color of it, and this color actually matched my old wallpaper, so I should probably kind of update it a little bit. The only thing I don't like about the Apple Clock app widget, the Apple Clock widget, is that it's only an analog time, and my brain doesn't work with analog time. So yes, I have a huge widget on my phone just for one digital clock, but it's worth it for me. And then we've got the finance folder, just has my bank apps and stuff. ESPN for checking all my sports things, which only really matter to me during American football season, but I leave it there anyway. And then I have Off Book and Pokemon Go. Yes, all these years later, I am still doing Pokemon Go. Do I do it religiously as I did back then, or open it or go on it, whatever? No, I don't. But I still enjoy Pokemon Go. I'm still catching them all. And then the Offbook app I've talked about a lot before. It's an app I use to learn my lines. So you can go in here. It looks like it's... I wish these folks would update their app because I really, really like it. But yeah, it looks like it's designed for like an iPhone 4 and it's kind of wonky, but it gets the job done. I can choose a scene. So like when I was doing Shakespeare, I can choose one of the scenes and then I can go in here and I can change the name of my character. So I was Jaques, it mutes my line. I go back, and now if I were to play through this, it would start playing my lines, but muting myself. So then I can like speak to my phone and rehearse my scenes without a scene partner. It is an essential for me as an actor and I love it. Then we have Google Drive. GoodNotes is the other notes app I was mentioning of Notability notes and GoodNotes that I use. Mainly, once again, I use GoodNotes on my iPad. I've been kind of gravitating more to GoodNotes over Notability on my iPad because you can kind of have it more like a notebook, like an actual flipping through your pages notebook instead of just one long document that scrolls, and I kind of like that better. Also, the bullet journal pages on GoodNotes just look better than on Notability. So once again, this is another app that I use a lot on my iPad, so I just like having access to it here, but I don't write anything in GoodNotes or Notability. I just use it more like a viewer. Oh, that's weird. It looks like on here it reads, it goes up and down, but on the iPad it goes side to side. But so like I have like writing on here of whatever we were doing, and then I do sometimes insert a PDF, and it looks better on the iPad. But yeah, I don't like the experience on the phone. It's more of just a viewer. I didn't talk about this widget. I steamrolled past it. So this is the fitness widget. I just like having it there to check what my rings are looking like. I can check it on my wrist, but I can also check it there. It's just nice to have the reminder. Then we've got Discord, use that for some of my group chats. We've got Sloth, that's a productivity app. And then on the bottom row, we have Storygraph, Patreon, Medium, and the New York Times crossword app. I love the New York Times crossword, but particularly I like the Daily Mini because they're small, they're quick, and I like to try to beat my own time. I pay like $30 a year for that subscription. Medium is for articles, and I actually write on Medium too, and I made a video about Medium, and I'm gonna do an update video on it, like reflecting on the 2 years it's been since I did that video and all that stuff. But I like having the app here. Patreon, obviously for my Patreon, patreon.com/Annelies if you want to become a part of that. And then Storygraph is like Goodreads, except not owned by Jeff Bezos. So if you don't know what Goodreads is and you don't know what Storygraph is, it's an app where you can log your reading. So you can see the things that you're currently reading. You can also see information about them, like what's their like themes or the genres, when it was published, how many pages it is, and then how far I am through it. Oh yeah, you can have like reading goals and stuff. So I want to try to read 15 books this year, which will be insane. I've already read more books this year than I have any year in like the last 10 years. So I am already doing great as far as I'm concerned. I have a lot of books back here, as you can see, trying to get through those. And then you can have page goals. You can go through here and see like the genres, the pace you like to read, the styles, and then the speed at which you read. You can also do, what's the word? You can do reviews on here. You can look up other people's reviews of the book. So I like tracking things. Like that's something I enjoy. I enjoy analytics. So when I'm reading a book and then I can go in there and go, ooh, I read 20 more pages today, and like put that in there. And then you can go back and see your reading log and see like how fast you read a book. So I've gotten really into reading in the last year, and I like Storygraph to be able to track that. And I also like the fact that it's not owned by Amazon. And I keep the last row empty because there's nothing else that inspires me to leave on my homepage because like I said earlier, I use Spotlight Search a lot. So if you don't know what Spotlight Search is, if you pull down from any screen that you're on, you can just search apps on your phone. So that's how I access things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You also get like predictions on here. So, you know, it's telling me, hey, you normally practice French every day or a language or whatever. Maybe you want to do that. So I like Spotlight Search a lot. And then the rest of my apps live in my app library, which this is like one of my favorite things about iOS 15 is that they're all just kind of like accumulated in one space. An app I wanted to mention is Bandbrite. This app. Oh, did this not save my stuff? Oh man. Okay, it saved my stuff. Okay. Oh, I realize I haven't opened this since I got my new phone, and so I thought it didn't save all my bands. Okay. So what I love about Bandbrite, I'm gonna call it Bandbrite. Sorry, the Bandbrite people, if I'm saying your app name wrong. But like I mentioned earlier, I have an Apple Watch that I'm obsessed with, and I wear it every single day. So I like having a whole bunch of bands, and all those live in this drawer right here. But I also like knowing what bands I have, so that way if I want to buy a new band, I can like see if I already have it or see if it's a color that's similar to the one I already have. This app started as like a spreadsheet of all the Apple Watch bands that ever existed. And then I had like a file on my iPad in Notability where I like highlighted the ones that I had, but then they made it into a freaking app. So I can go in here and go to my collection and see all of the sport bands I have and like the names of them, the colors. You can see what year it came out. I can add it to like my wish list, or it tells me the model number, how much it cost at the time. You can also see the color group. So if I want to go, oh, what colors do I have in orange? Oh, I have these 5 colors. Maybe I need a different color, whatever. Once again, I like cataloging things. I like analytics. I like organizing things. And I really love this app for that. You can see all the different types of bands. You can see it as a full collection. I think I need to update mine because I think I have 32 bands and not 29. But then you can also like go through here and be like, ooh, I haven't seen this light violet white Nike sport band. I'm gonna add it to my wish list. And then you go online or to the Apple store or whatever and you go, oh, that one was on my wish list. I'm gonna pick it up. I don't, this is so silly. But yeah, I just, I like being able to see this. This is so good. I love this. I love this so much. Oh, yes. I have like a lot of bands from 2015 and 2019. The style, I've got more sport bands. I like them the best. Bands by color. That's interesting. I would have thought that I had more orange bands, but I guess I have more blue bands. I love this. This is so good. Oh, what's the, oh my God. The approximate value of my bands is $1,400. Those bands cost a lot. I'm gonna hope that's value like over time and how much money they've become worth and not how much money I've spent, because the idea of me spending $1,500 on Apple Watch bands hurts my heart just a little bit, but also I use them all the time, so it's money well spent as far as I'm concerned. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Oh, wait a second. I'm just gonna throw in a screenshot here, but this is what my control center looks like. I've got the flashlight, timer, calculator, camera, Apple remote, low power mode, screen recording, and the announcing notifications with Siri in your AirPods thing. I like being able to turn that off really easy. Obviously, I use screen recording a lot, so I like having easy access to that. The timer app, I use it a ton to just set timers for cooking or little things here and there, but I also use that as a shortcut to get to my alarms. I use calculator more than I think I would, but I almost always click on calculator when I mean to click on timer because I'm just dumb. And then I like having easy access to my flashlight. So that's what my control center looks like. But anyway, that is the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found an app or a layout or a widget or something like that that you might enjoy that you want to add onto your iPhone. Before I go, thank you so much to all of my wonderful Patreon supporters. These lovely, beautiful people help support this channel monetarily. And if you would like to do so too, you can go to patreon.com/Annelies. These are my top tier patrons. And so if you want to be a part of that, you can check out all of my tiers on my Patreon, see what their benefits are, and have your name tattooed permanently at the end of all my videos. But thank you so much to all my patrons of past, present, and future, and all of my top tier patrons. Of course, subscribe to my channel if you are new. Like this video if you liked it. Feel free to comment anything down below that you would like to see on this channel in the future. Otherwise, that is it for me. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye! Oh, I'm hot. It is. There's no central AC in London. I'm gonna die this summer. Oh my God.